Hi, this is a quick video cast on the new SEO features that we have in Affino 5.5 to deliver on this. If we start with the home page, up until this version, every single release of Affino used to have /home/index.cfm. Now we've removed the need from that, and we can now run any number of domains of a single Affino instance. They all run individually and they all run with no issues. And the way the content is structured within it is means that it's very easy to find it. Now we don't actually have any URLs behind any of these things. There's no, well, we have URLs, but we don't have any hard-coded documents. So if I go into /news on Emojo, I could on the same instance be going to a /news on affinoworld.com on the same instance. So although they're pointing virtually at the same page, there'll be different underlying content. Now, on top of adding that feature, we've also enabled it so that every single article and every single media item can have a friendly URL. So we look at the URL, we're going into Emoji.com, news headlines, Affino News, and because this is a news-related content page, we've dated it to provide uniqueness, and then Affino 5.5 is launched, has a friendly URL. Now, we've also introduced this for every single member, so if I go into Emoji.com versus Marcus, then we can go to my page. Now, there isn't actually a page there, but it knows that my member's name, my nickname, is Marcus. Now, I can then say, show me my CV, so I'll go /CV, and I see the CV. If I then say, okay, well actually I want to see my images, and I just go /images, and then I can see a page which holds all the images that I've uploaded recently, and so on and so forth. And we're extending this kind of capability, which we call 3D navigation, into other aspects of the site. But we started off with the community side. So that gives you the overview of how the URLs have changed. Now, where do we start? Well, when you set up the site now, you can do an additional few elements. You can decide how the page title format is, and there's multiple different formats. So you can have the site name followed by the hierarchy followed by the item name, or as we have chosen, the lowest level channel section. Well, we've chosen the lowest level channel section or item, and then the site name. So if I go and look at my page, well, here I've got Marcus and it's my images, so that shows that. But I can go and look at, let's just say, if I go to the news headlines, and I look at Affino 5.5 is launched, then I get the title, Affino 5.5 is launched, the name Emojo, and that's it. But there's lots of different formats that we can use. We've added in a bot security group now. We're not using this in Emoji.com, but it gives the ability to say which user access rights the bots will have when they come to your website, so they can index otherwise secured content, and that gives you the ability to promote your site effectively on the search engines. We also, here is a one-click box where we've enabled the personal screen names. So without that, users won't have personal screen names like we have now, but with it you can give them that ability. Now, if we look at the zone changes, this is where things have changed the most, because what we've done is, rather than have a single website, the way the zones work is that you really can slice and dice your single Affino instance into as many sites as you want. Now, you start by defining the associated profile, which is what user group is accessing the site, who else are you going to authenticate, what is the primary zone domain, so in this case www.emojo.com, and you can enforce that domain, which means that only that domain will be presented irrespective of what other domains are used to access the website. But then you can put in any other domain, so www.emojo.is, etc. You can apply search profiles and everything else to it as well. Now what we've also done is we said that each zone can have its own site name, so we're just running Emojo here, so we don't have to change the site name in this instance. But if, for example, we have a separate site on this called Funky, then I can change the sub-site name to Funky, and then that will show up. Now we can specify that each site has its own favicon. We can define whether or not there's a Google sitemap generated, and if we include hidden content within that. And each site can have its own 404 error handler, which specifies where people go when they access that site. Now, the key change that we made in this particular instance is not just the high level, but actually right down to the individual item. So that means that every item that you're publishing now can have its own keywords and its own screen name. Now the screen name is the friendly URL. It means if we look at the URL up here at the moment, there's an editing URL, but you see there's lots of question marks, etc., etc. But if we look at just the live item itself, then we will see that that will all go. So new Affino 5.5 features in pictures, etc., etc. So we've got rid of the need to have any funky attributes in the URL, which means that they are much more consistent and better presented, and they're human readable as well. And importantly, when we bookmark, we're bookmarking it with a friendly name, we're bookmarking it in an instantly readable way, and it makes it much easier. Now the net result is that all the content which appears on Google is now better presented. So we can see I've done a quick search here for Affino, and it brings up the Emojo homepage, and then underneath that it brings up the products on the Emojo page. And you know, we can carry on going down the list, but essentially, and it presents things in the easiest possible way. There's no funky URL strings or anything like that. It's just a very simple presentation. Now we've updated the analytics extensively in this version. The most important thing being the dashboard, which we'll cover separately. But we have introduced broken link report. Now the broken link report will highlight all the top breakages and all the top instances of any broken links within Affino, and it will present it to you in a report, and then you can spot where things may have broken while you've been updating and while you've been implementing these new links. What it has done is highlighted that some of the elements within Affino need to be updated to present the right information. So that's something that we'll be sorting out in the near future. But it is very useful when you are doing the upgrade and you maybe spot some hard-coded links that you have that are pointing into your site, or you may find some feeder pages which are pointing into your domain which are no longer being served, and you can rectify that very quickly. Now the other thing that we've created is the page dashboard, which means that every single page now that is presenting media content, standard content, any of the main channel pages, etc., they will have their own page dashboard, and you can see who is accessing your page, who accessed it most recently, who are the top viewers of a particular page, what's the demographic breakdown versus members and guests, what is the breakdown male, female, unknown ratio. You can see the page views. So I'll go into today, I can track up to this week, I can look at the last 7 days, etc. But importantly, on the SEO side, I can see what are the referring domains, you know, what domain has referred into this particular page, and we see that Google has referred into it. Most of the referrals have been direct. I can see the URLs, and importantly, I can track the actual keywords which are targeting this specific page. And every single page has this dashboard, which is very easy to launch from that particular page. Well, that's it. That gives you a quick overview of the new SEO capabilities, and yeah, look forward to seeing all your sites set up and shooting up the Google rankings.